everyone, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 11 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in Lucha Underground history with match number 40 on our list, which is the Cueto Cup Tournament second round match between Fenix and Marty the Moth Martinez from the July 12th, 2017 edition of Lucha Underground entitled A Phoenix to a Flame. So we've got some recurring themes in the first, 10-ish episodes of this season. The Cueto Cup has been one of them. So we've talked about it at length. 32-person tournament to determine the number one contender to the Lucha Underground title, with the winner getting their title shot at Ultima Lucha Tres. Tournament was incredibly effective. We got a lot of good first-time matches, some feuds renewed, and a very satisfying payoff in the finals. This match really jump-started what had been a budding rivalry between Fenix, in my opinion, the best wrestler to come out of Lucha Underground that we didn't really know when Lucha Underground began, and Marty the Moth Martinez, who, in my opinion, was the biggest surprise of Lucha Underground, in that, and I've mentioned this before, he kind of started out as like a mid-card, almost like a comedy character. Through Season 2, he really started to develop, and Season 3 is when he really came out of his shell, or, given that he's a moth, came out of his cocoon, if you will, and really turned into an incredible character, just an absolute menacing figure, a great brawler, and just really, really good all around. And this feud with Fenix is what really, I'd grown in to be a fan of him, and this was the match and ultimately the feud that really put him over the top for me and made me such a fan. This match is really good because Fenix, he outclasses Marty in ring in pretty much every way, shape, and form. And he's, just rolling with offense at the start. But Marty has to use his cunning and his dirty tactics, and specifically his sister, the Mariposa, at ringside for interference. So, she trips Fenix up on a dive. He eventually comes back and hits a Fosbury flop. He trips him up again, and Marty really takes over, and this is where, he becomes this menacing character. So basically how this feud started is, since his debut, Marty the Moth had been harassing the ring announcer, Melissa Santos, been really creepy and uncomfortable around her and sniffing her and playing with her hair and, trying to get a date with her, and just, really, really creepy, to the point that the fans would chant "creepy bastard" at Marty whenever he was out. Fenix and Melissa, through Season 3, started to develop a little bit of a romance, and, of course, that led to the jealousy bug biting Marty. So what we would get here is what would be, kind of on paper, just a normal, match in the Cueto Cup. Fenix, had defeated the Mariposa in the first round. Going into the second round contest becomes this heated grudge match. So after, Mariposa trips Fenix up again, Marty goes after the mask and he rips and tears at it. And Melissa Santos, being the ring announcer, she's at ringside for all of this and does a really, really good job, just, screaming and shrieking and, having all of these great kind of like horror movie facial expressions, not being able to believe the violence that, her boyfriend is being put through by someone that she hates, with every fiber of her being. Fenix, he weathers the storm. He hits a bunch of great offense in here. He gets the, step-up spin kick in the corner. There's a great moment where he has Marty seated on the top rope, and he proceeds to jump off the top rope and hit a double stomp to Marty's head while he's seated up there. It was a really great near fall. He got 2 off of it. Marty busts out some great offense here as well. So Fenix goes for a Marosault, like a turnaround moonsault, misses it. Marty hits a big bicycle kick for a near fall, and then he hits this great move where he basically holds Fenix like in a dominator position, right? That like Canadian backbreaker over the shoulder, and he flips him forward like he's going to do a dominator, but into like a front lung blower to the chest. And it was really, really cool. Not a move that you see a lot. Came out of nowhere, and again just shows the growth that Marty has had overall. Our finish, we do get a little bit of shenanigans. So Marty the Moth, he wears this like Aztec Pride, this ugly yellow t-shirt, and he started carrying around a lunchbox that said the same thing, right? Kind of playing into this weird, like almost boy-like, kind of image he has with all of these sick and twisted thoughts. So he goes for the lunchbox. Actually, I believe it was Mariposa that tried to like interject it in the ring. Melissa cuts her off, and during this whole commotion, it allows Fenix to roll up Marty for the 3. This overall match was really, really solid, and I've talked about this in the program before, where I sometimes struggle to, think, what do extracurriculars add to the overall package of the match when it comes to the rating, of where they fall on this list. And sometimes I include them, sometimes they don't. I feel like they really have to be like a direct correlation to the match itself, and not just, like an angle attached to it. So our post-match here, I do feel, lended directly to the story of the match, and it certainly bumped it up a little bit. It's a great match in its own right, but the post-match really sets it over the top, where Marty opens his lunchbox. We finally get to see what's inside. Of course, he's got a fork there, and he proceeds to just use the fork to carve up the head of Fenix, who's already got the ripped mask. Fenix is such a good bleeder. We haven't really got to see it, much post Lucha Underground. We saw it a little bit in the cage match at All Out, last weekend. But really, it's something he's so good at. He taps these gushers all the time. So he does a great job. He's bleeding all over the place. Marty's incredible, licking the fork that's got the blood all over it. While Mariposa, forces Melissa Santos to watch it. It was a really great, really disgusting, really graphic post-match, but it really kicked this feud into overdrive. We would ultimately get a fun mixed tag where Melissa Santos would make her in-ring debut when her and Fenix teamed against Marty and Mariposa, and this would lead to a big bloodbath of a grudge match at Ultima Lucha Tres between Fenix and Marty, mask versus hair, but that match is a story for another time. Lucha Underground, depending on where you live, you may be able to find it on the Tubi app, but you can find these episodes online if you search hard enough. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you don't miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50. Top 50.